In today's video, I'm going to be covering how to join Navy Federal, whether you are military or not, and some of the top secrets that you need to know if you are a Navy Federal member or are planning to become a Navy Federal member. Navy Federal is great for bad credit, great for high limits, great for so many different things. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing all of those things with you. Let's get started. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure that you have subscribed to the channel if you are interested in either personal credit or business credit. And you can also join the credit community for only $47 a month right now, where we talk about personal credit, business credit, and how to start your credit repair business. Let's get started. In today's video, we're covering the top secret Navy Federal hacks that you need to know whether you are a Navy Federal member or planning to become a Navy Federal member. I am a huge advocate in building credit, and Navy Federal is going to be one of the key tickets that you are going to need if you are in the process of building or rebuilding credit, and even to get higher limit trade lines. So Navy Federal is known for giving high limit credit limits, and that's the beauty of it. Most of their credit cards, especially the green cash rewards card and the flagship card, are going to give you high limit approvals if you have at least a 650 to a 670 credit score. Generally, they start off around $20,000 to $25,000 approvals, and that flagship card can go up to $80,000. They are going off of stated income. So no matter what, you are just going to give them a number. Make sure that number is a healthy one, if you know what I mean. You can certainly use your household income. Bad credit is okay. So if you are in the process of building credit or rebuilding credit, Navy Federal is going to be one of these banks that you're going to need to get. Trust me when I tell you this, Navy Federal was the bank that opened up so many doors and opportunities for me, because at one point I was that person that was getting nothing but those $500 baby approvals, and it was so frustrating. But guess what? I really took my time to learn this information. I took action, and Navy Federal was one of the banks that helped me open up the gates and opportunities so I could add comparable credit to my credit, so other banks and financial institutions will feel comfortable lending to me in that range. So you can start building credit even if you have bad credit, and I'm going to be showing you in this video exactly how to do it, because believe me friends, I was there at one point. If you are struggling with bad credit, we teach you how to fix it within the credit community. You can also book a call with me. The link is in the description. You can liquidate your credit cards. Navy Federal is great for all these things. I can show you how to liquidate at least $10,000 off of your credit card and turn that into cash with Navy Federal. There are so many other ways and hacks, and make sure to watch this entire video, because again, guys, this is all of the secrets that you need to know if you are planning to get with Navy or you're with Navy. Not to mention, their business side of things is a great opportunity. Okay, guys, most credit unions are going to really harper down on a few things, either cash flow or credit. With Navy Federal, they're based on relationship, and this is what you need if you don't have a perfect credit score. So I'm going to be showing you how to build a relationship with Navy Federal. So if you have less than a 700 credit score, you can still get approved. But all of these things are going to help you get up into that 700 club. So that way you can go spread your wings to other banks, kind of use Navy Federal as that, opportunity, that stepping stone, if you will. You don't need to use them as your primary bank. They're just going to be one of those ace in the holes that we can build, deposit, set up a small, direct deposit bi-weekly or weekly, some of those great things to start building that relationship with the bank. The $1 million question is, how do you join Navy Federal? Well, if you are military, it's going to be very easy for you because you would qualify based on your military membership. If you are a veteran, then of course you're military. So any sort a person that has served in the military, in the Navy, any sort of armed service, you would qualify because you served. But for those of us that have not served, if we have a family member or a household member that is, served in the military, we can call in and we can let them know, hey, my father served in the military and he is no longer alive, but I wanted to go ahead and sign up for a Navy Federal bank account today. And you can do it right over the phone. Now, if they ask you, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? I'm sorry, no, I don't have his information. He has passed away. Unfortunately, it's been very hard to deal with, but I wanted to go ahead and get my account signed up with you guys today. You can load your bank account with a credit card, which I highly recommend. And later on in the video, we're going to explain why you want to do that and how you can leverage a trade line to build credit with Navy Federal with no hard pull. Now, I'm telling you guys, this information is game changing. So make sure you are taking notes and most importantly, taking action. If you haven't by now, make sure that you have given my video a huge thumbs up because guess what? I just gave you the whole play on how to get into Navy Federal. Now, what most people do if they don't qualify for any of these things is they simply do what? They say the same thing that I just told you. Hello, I have my father that served in the Navy and he passed away, but unfortunately, I don't have any of his information. You don't even really need to say that. What you need to say is this, and I will put it in the description for you to literally copy and paste. So go to the description, read the instructions, and again, hello, I want to sign up for a bank account. My father was in the Navy. He passed away. I don't have his information, but he always spoke so highly of Navy Federal, and now I want to go ahead and sign up for a bank account with you folks as well. And you don't need to say anything further. Do you have his DDT 14 number? I'm sorry, I don't. I don't have any of his old paperwork. He passed away. Like I said, it's been very difficult to deal with, but I wanted to go ahead and get my bank account open with you folks today. So just push through it. Again, I'll put the description or the information in the description below for you guys to get that game. If it works, it works. But I always say if it's not going well with the representative that you're speaking with, hang up and call back and speak to someone else. And again, be nice, be kind. I recommend just trying to get in, even if you have to be creative, guys. You will qualify if you do have someone that served in the military, like a father, a grandparent, a spouse, a sibling, a child, a grandchildren, or if a household member is a Navy Federal member, say they're not military, but you happen to know a Navy Federal member, they can simply share their access code with you. Now, a lot of people sell access codes. I would not recommend buying one because guess what? Their account is probably really hot. So no, get in by simply calling and saying what I just told you, that whole spiel. I'm sorry, my father was in the Navy, but he passed away. And we kind of went over this already. If you are active duty, retired, and or a veteran that has served in any sort of armed force, then you would qualify for a Navy Federal account as well. And then guess what? You can help your friends and family get into Navy Federal as a member. So that way they can start leveraging their credit, start building credit, and take advantage of all of these amazing opportunities they have to really raise the bar for yourself. I'm telling you guys right now, you guys don't understand the power of Navy Federal, the power of understanding how to build relationships with these credit unions. And I'm giving you this game, so you need to take action. And not only can you use this same concept and outline for Navy Federal, but use this same concept and this blueprint for other banks and other financial institutions and other credit unions, okay? The basic blueprint is you get a bank account, okay? And you build that relationship for 90 days. During that 90 days, you see if you can invest in any sort of certificate of deposit, which is a CD account. You get a savings account. You get, of course, your checking account. And you also want to do some sort of secured loan, okay? Now, the best primary trade line that you guys can possibly get out there are these bank trade lines to build credit. How do we do that with no hard credit pull? Nicole, I'm telling you guys, drum roll, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guess what? You can build your own primary trade lines with Navy Federal and other credit unions and or banks that offer a secured loan. Okay. Now this loan with Navy Federal is called a pledge loan. The pledge loan is basically where we are taking our own cash and we are putting it on our credit report to build credit and build that relationship with the bank. And again, there is no hard credit pull. Now here is a super hack that I bet you nobody is telling you guys. So are you paying attention? And if you are, make sure to hit that smash button so I can give you this information. I appreciate you guys. I so do. Okay, now with Navy Federal and other banks, some banks out there will let you fund your bank account with a credit card. Did you hear me right? Okay, so you can take a credit card and fund your bank account, right? So say you fund your bank account with $5,000 or $10,000. You can take that $5,000 or $10,000. Let's just call it $5,000. You fund your bank account with a $5,000 from a credit card, right? You take that $5,000 and you put it into your savings account. So when you initially set up your account, you want to set up a checking account and a savings account. Honestly, I don't really care what checking account you guys go with. You can go with the, whatever one you prefer, okay? It doesn't really matter. What matters is all of these other steps, okay? Honestly, I just had the regular checking account, but then I got the savings account, I did the CD, I did the pledge loan. So I was building multiple banking products with the bank, which helps raise your internal credit score with Navy Federal. Yes, you have an internal score, not necessarily a credit score, but it's their internal credit score for you. And that's why they are more focused on that relationship versus your credit score. So if you have a good relationship with them and you have a good internal score with them, it's a win-win. And there's so many opportunities there, guys. Okay. So you take that $5,000 that you funded your bank account with, you put it in your savings account, because in order for you to do a pledge loan, we have to have that money in our savings account. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to call Navy Federal and you want to say, hey, I want to set up a certificate pledged loan with you guys for $5,000. The money is in my savings account. They'll set up the they'll set up the pledge loan for you guys. And honestly, I would set it up for about 7-year term if I were you. Okay, just a 7-year term, and let it roll for that entire term or as long as possible, minimum 2 years. Okay, you don't want to close it too quickly. All right, you want to let it roll so you can build a solid trade line on your credit report that has a minimum of a 2-year payment history, which of course we want to make sure that when you set up your pledge loan, they're going to basically take that money from your savings account, put it into as if you took a loan out against it, and they'll put that same money into your checking account. It's basically just recycling your money, right? So we just take that same money and just from our checking account and just pay it back, set up the automatic payments to automatically pay it back. Some people like to pay it off, 80% and let the other 20% roll. But honestly, just set it and forget it. Okay. That's it. Okay. But definitely take advantage of that pledge loan before you apply for any credit products, especially if your credit score is under 700 and you are a new member with them. Now, if you've already had an established relationship with Navy Federal, that's a whole nother ballgame, right? Because they like relationships. They are a relationship bank, as most of these credit unions are. So again, take this same concept and apply it to other banking relationships as well. You guys should be setting up at least 3 bank accounts every 6 to 12 months, and bank accounts that are going to be pulling from different credit bureaus. Okay. Now, Navy Federal, they are a TransUnion bank. So when you apply for their credit products, they are going to be pulling your credit report using TransUnion. And when they do pull your credit report, they are going to be using a FICO 9 credit scoring model. Okay, so it's not going to be the credit score that you see on Credit Karma, because Credit Karma, that's the Vantage 3.0 scoring model, which is just, different algorithms and different ways of calculating it. But if you understand the data points, then you'll be fine. It doesn't really matter. Okay, your credit score doesn't really matter if you understand your data points: on-time payments, keeping your credit usage under 10%, your history. If you need to add history, add an authorized user trade line. I sell them. The link is below for you guys to add some history to your credit profile and add higher limits, which help you get higher limits. Okay, trade lines are great. That's what I did as well. Not to mention, new credit. If you have gotten a lot of new credit lately, then it might be time to just rest and grow those accounts and do the build, break, build method. If you haven't watched some of my other master classes on credit, make sure to do that. It'll make a lot of sense. And then last but not least, you want to have a nice credit mixture. Now, once you get your data points right, you can fully take advantage of Navy Federal and all of the benefits that they offer you guys as members. The great thing is, even if you don't have a perfect data points, good credit, that's okay, because they are still going to approve people based on their relationship with less than fair credit. And that's always been Navy Federal's thing, is that's why they were developed, because they know sometimes when you're in the military, credit is not the most important thing, and things can kind of slip away. Accidents can happen. One of the things that I love about Navy Federal is they approve lower and bad credit scores. So you don't have to have perfect credit to be able to take advantage of their credit products. But what you do need to have is a good relationship with them. So your internal credit score is really high. And what does that mean? No overdraft fees. Okay. You should really make sure that you have overdraft protection, or just have the whole overdraft thing turned off. So if the money is not in your account, the transaction will get declined. We have to make sure that we are not getting any sort of red flags that we are going through some sort of financial hardship. We need to make sure that auto pay is set up for all of our credit accounts. We need to make sure that we don't have any sort of overdrafts. Okay, very, very important. If you have had recent overdrafts in your bank account with Navy Federal, you could potentially get declined for a pledge loan. Okay, a pledge loan is not a guaranteed approval. They do approve most people, and they don't use your credit score. However, again, that relationship, constantly getting overdraft. If you're constantly, don't have any money in your account and always going negative, that is a red flag. Okay, you cannot do that. Even if you keep your bank account with a couple $100 in it, that is going to be better than you constantly having, under $10 in your bank account. You want to make sure that you are managing your finances properly and budgeting, so that way you're not in those type of predicaments. But that's neither here or there. Bad credit is definitely approved, but make sure you understand how to keep a good relationship with them and build multiple credit products: checking, savings, CD, which is a certificate of deposit, the pledge loan, multiple certificate of deposits. There's a ton of different options that you can do out there to increase the amount of banking products that you have. Because ultimately, when you increase the amount of banking products that you have, you're going to increase that internal credit score. And the only way that you're going to know what that internal credit score is when you apply for something and then they send you a letter in the mail telling you, if you were approved or denied, and what your actual credit score is that they used from TransUnion. And then on the back of that, and kind of like at the top, it says your internal credit score, or your internal score with Navy Federal, is this. You want to be as close to that 400, 450 mark, because again, that relationship is going to be the winning ticket to get you approved, whether you have bad credit, good credit, whatever the case may be. I've even seen people that have a 700 credit score get denied. Why? Because they did not have a good Navy Federal Credit Union internal credit score. That's like your internal credit score with them. So you need to make sure you understand how to raise it. And honestly, we just went over it. So you've got to get those multiple banking products. You cannot have any overdraft fees. You can't constantly be going negative in your bank accounts. You can't constantly be overspending. Even if you keep your, say your bank accounts low in that bank, that's fine. I never really used Navy Federal as my main banking resource, but I never got an overdraft fee. I never let my accounts go negative. I never let any of those things happen. I really always tried to keep at a minimum of 100 or more in both checking and savings, minimum. Okay. You really don't want to drop below that and then have constant transactions. And if you do, you want to have more frequent deposits. So if you have direct deposit with a paycheck, get either 5 or 10% of your direct deposit sent into a couple of the new banks that you're building that relationship with. And a lot of new banks, I'm not sure if Navy Federal has a welcome bonus right now, but welcome bonuses are great. They do have some welcome bonuses on their credit cards, but of course, in order for you to apply for their credit products, and this is kind of the same thing with most credit unions because you have to become a member and only members can apply for their credit products. So in this case, the first hurdle that we have to get over is getting into Navy Federal. And a lot of people think that it's impossible, but it's not. All that you have to do is, call and say the story. Link is in the description. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have to not put the sauce in the description because someone might be a hater. But I'm going to leave a link below for you to request it and I'll send it to you guys, okay? Because I can't have all of these haters saying, oh, this, that, the other. Okay, look, I'm here to educate and to help you guys grow. I give you the information that you need to know because guess what? If you knew better, you would do better. And I'm not one of those gurus that's trying to charge you for every little piece of information. Now, what you need to do is just visit the description below. You can join the credit community, which I highly recommend, and especially because it's only $47 a month right now. And you can request the sauce for Navy Federal. I will give it to you guys. I have no problem with that. I just probably can't put it out in the open like that. Okay. But I will definitely email it to you. So the link is in the description for you to get that. Another thing that I love about Navy Federal is they are open 24/7. So say you have some sort of god awful issue that happened. I've had issues with customers where they're like, oh my God, I just transferred like my whole entire check to my credit card on accident. What do I do, Nicole? And I'm like, all you have to do is just call Navy Federal. They're open 24/7 and they will take good care of you. So no matter where you are, because again, they have a lot of members who are in the military and on totally different time schedules than everyone else. So they are available 24/7. That is the personal side. Business side operates during normal business hours. Another thing I really love about Navy Federal is there are no balance transfer fees or foreign transaction fees. So if you make a balance transfer from, say, your credit card, you have a credit card with Navy Federal, it's, $50,000. You're like, hey, I need like $10,000 real fast. You can balance transfer $10,000 into your checking account. You can take that $10,000. You can do a pledge loan with it. So again, guys, we got to be creative and leverage our credit to build more positive credit so we can get a bigger bag in the future. If you set yourself up for success now, I'm telling you guys, it is going to reward you tenfold. You don't want to try to rush the process, okay? But I'm telling you guys, this is the blueprint right here. You have to take action. So again, balance transfers, they're great. And again, if you do want this slideshow, it is inside of our credit community. So you would have to join it. Not to mention, we have a ton of other videos and slides and a ton of games. You'll have access to all the courses. It's amazing. Stated income. Man, what other bank out there is going off of nothing but stated income? Now, I'll tell you this. a lot of banks do. All of Navy Federal's loans and credit products are based off of stated income. So when you apply for an auto loan, you will put down your household stated income. They will not require bank statements or any of those things. And that's why I love Navy Federal so much. I'm telling you guys, their auto loan literally saved me over $200 a month. I'm not sure if you know my story, but if you do, hey, I appreciate you watching. If you don't, make sure that you have subscribed. But back years and years ago, I had an interest rate on my auto loan that was like 20 something percent from, I forgot if it was like I think it was GM Financial, which of course Chrysler Capital and GM Financial, but they'll finance anyone at, 20 or 30% interest at the Dodge dealership. So I had a 580 credit score at that time, probably a 560. It was horrible, but I ended up getting approved. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And, me just even getting approved, that's all that I had to hear. It was like, okay, where do I sign? Right? But I knew I had to do something because my auto loan for a Dodge Charger, no, I had a Challenger. That one was ridiculous. And then I got a Charger. So this was the Charger, the 4-door, because I had to get a 4-door. Now I got the Charger and my car payment was like close to $700 a month plus insurance, right? I'm like, man, I got to do something. So I had to refinance my auto loan with Navy Federal. I got approved with my auto loan refinance at a 670 credit score with TransUnion and was able to save over $200 a month just on interest alone, guys. Not to mention, when you have better credit, your insurance rates are much lower because you are a lower risk. When you have bad credit, you are high risk all the way around, sweethearts. So let me tell you guys, you have to get it together. It's going to save you so much money. I had no idea the reason why my insurance was so high is because I had horrible credit. They don't tell you that they look at your credit, but they absolutely do. It's not a hard pull, it's a soft pull. They can't deny you because of your credit, but they can certainly charge your ass accordingly, okay? So, stated income auto loans, they have some of the better interest rates. You can go pick up a check right from the branch, or they can mail you a check and you take that check directly to the auto dealership. Now, not everyone, as far as auto dealerships, accept outside financing from Navy Federal, but the great thing is that Navy Federal will provide you with a list of approved auto dealerships that will accept financing from them. If I were you, I would just use CarMax because CarMax, that's where I bought my second car with Navy Federal, and I love it. It is great. There was no hassle with CarMax. They didn't have to run my credit or anything. I went to other dealerships prior and they're like, oh, we have to run your credit just to verify your identity. I was like, I'm out of here. No, I already did that with Navy Federal. I don't need you to run nothing. So CarMax is no hassle. You can find a car. They have pretty much everything, and it's just simple, and if you don't love your car, you can return it. That's another thing that a lot of auto dealerships do not offer is they love your car guarantee, which sometimes you might not like that car. So I recommend CarMax. So yeah, CarMax, holler at me. They offer a soft pull credit limit increase directly through the app. So if you are working on getting those high limits and maxing out at $80K between the revolving lines of credit that are unsecured with Navy Federal, which that's their max, you're going to need to ask for credit limit increases. I recommend asking for a credit limit increase every 3 to 6 billing cycles up to $8,000. So that way you can help grow your credit limits to get those high limits. And again, no hard credit inquiry will be performed through the app. If you call and speak to a representative, that could end in a hard pull. So you want to just go ahead and use the app. They offer the cash advance hack. So if you are needing cash, you can actually pull cash off of your credit card. There is a PIN number. Now there is a high interest rate, so sometimes you might be better off just getting a personal loan from Lightstream. There's also the Go prepaid hack. This is more the speed that I would recommend people, because you can actually liquidate $10,000 off of your credit card for pretty much free. So you can actually load this prepaid debit card. Now, this is the Navy Federal Go prepaid debit card, and you do have to be a member in order to get this. Now, it was an orange card. It has now updated. So you see here it's blue and green, and you can load this prepaid debit card with a Navy Federal credit card for up to $10,000. With this card, you can actually withdraw $600 in cash per day, and you can liquidate $10,000. Now, it's going to take you several days to do so, but you can also use it at different merchants. So if you have merchant account, or get creative, but there's also point of sale at 3,000, and you can make other purchases as well. You can also add authorized users to the credit card to help you in the event that you might need to have additional cards to do maybe some withdrawing or spending, or whatever that fits your need. But you could do some more research and see if this is going to be a good option for you. I highly recommend it. It's a great way to be able to liquidate, not to mention raising up those limits, pulling the money off, paying it back, do a little bit of manufacturer spending, as we say it, right? You can also purchase gift cards. So if you are looking to purchase gift cards, I know graduation is coming up here real soon, and by the time you're watching this, is probably happening right about now, and you're going to want to send those grads off with a nice chunk of change. What better way than a Navy Federal gift card? You can pick a Visa gift card anywhere from $10 up to $500. And the great thing is you can purchase them in a branch or online. Now, keep in mind, they do offer physical cards, and they also offer digital cards, but the digital cards are only up to a $200 limit. And you can actually pay with a Navy Federal debit card or Navy Federal credit card. So again, guys, purchasing gift cards with a credit card. Navy Federal will debit ATM fees and credit them back to you. So there's recently been kind of a debacle about this whole thing, but you just have to make sure that if you do have ATM fees, you make sure that they are in fact credited back to you, because since Navy Federal has a limited amount of branches, they do this as a courtesy just to help their members to make sure that they're able to get their money. Like mentioned before, you can get up to $80,000 in unsecured revolving credit cards with Navy Federal. So my methodology to this is, why not get 2 high limit credit cards of $40,000 each, so that way I can just use those as decoration, comparable credit, to help get more credit cards and bigger credit cards in the future and on the business side. Because if you have 2 $40,000 credit cards on your personal credit, the next bank is going to give you comparable credit. Business credit, you can sometimes 5 and 10x that. With business credit, there's some other factors that are involved, but whenever you have higher limit comparable credit on your personal side, they know that you can manage large amounts of money. And that is always a plus. Make sure to not fumble the bag. Do not get any late payments, guys. We can always fix credit utilization, but one thing that we might not ever be able to fix is a late payment. Another great thing that I love about Navy Federal is they don't report you late until you are damn near 60 days late. So there is no excuses, guys. Make sure to have the minimum auto pay set up on all credit cards across the board. Make sure to put those dates into your calendar, okay? Put them into a spreadsheet. Get organized. Don't fumble the bag this early on, guys, and do not fumble the bag for a $20 or $25 or even $80,000 credit card. It's simply not worth it, okay? You have to walk a fine line with this. Don't get yourself in trouble. We are looking to get millions, not thousands, okay? Let's go. If you haven't by now, make sure that you've liked the video and that you subscribe to my channel, Credit Coach Nicole Scott. To connect with me more, visit the links in the description below. you can buy crypto with a debit card with Navy Federal. So for those crypto lovers out there, you can certainly take advantage of this. One thing that I love about Navy Federal is you can actually double dip with you and your spouse. So say for example, you and your husband or you and your wife or whomever, you are going to Navy Federal. You both get bank accounts. You both get credit cards. Well, guess what? Now you can put each other on your credit cards as authorized users to help get more funding. You can also each qualify for your own funding products, so that way you can get, again, more funding and add more trade lines of higher value to your credit report and to your family's credit report. You can add your children. Don't play. It is just, there are so many things to do, guys. I'm trying to tell you guys, you have to take action. You have to take the time to watch this entire video and learn this information, because this is free to you, okay? You have to take the time and you have to take action, okay? You not taking action is going to be your biggest downfall, because guess what? Get it while the getting is good. The getting is not always going to be good, okay? Things are always changing in the world of credit. So in 5 years from now, Navy Federal might be outdone by another new credit union. We just never know. So that's why it's important in 2024, 2025, 2026 to take action now, okay? Now, one thing that I do love about Navy Federal is you have the ability to freeze and unfreeze your credit cards inside of your app for security reasons. So if you are worried about someone using your credit card, or if you've got things that are on auto pay or whatever the case may be, you don't want them to be charged, you can lock your credit card so no transactions can go through. Now, if you are worried about someone possibly having your credit card, you would probably just want to just flat out get a new card. But the thing that I like about the lock feature is when I'm going to the store, I can unlock my credit card and it's available for immediate use. And then I can lock it right back up. Here are the credit cards that Navy Federal offers, and this is on the personal side. We're going to cover the business a little bit later on in this video. So again, guys, make sure that you are watching this entire video, save it as your favorite, subscribe to the channel. I've got a whole Navy Federal playlist. The green cash rewards card, that is going to be my first pick. So if you are new to Navy Federal or you haven't quite got any Navy Federal credit cards yet, my recommendation to you would be to start with this green cash rewards card. This green cash rewards card, I cannot tell you how many people I have helped get this card and how many high limits I have gotten people. They were in tears because they're like, this is the highest limit I have ever gotten in my entire life. And that is life changing, because what we're going to use these for are, basically the stepping stone to other opportunities that will give us comparable credit, if not higher credit. Okay. These are the doors that we need to open, okay? We're not going to use and abuse these credit cards. We're going to use them as decoration so we can build our credit profile to be strong. We can build it to be a 700-800 credit score. In the next 2 years, you can be at an 800 credit score, okay? You can leverage that on the business side. Now, it takes time to build credit. I get it, right? But one thing about Navy Federal is they will give you these things even if you have less than fair credit, okay? Just based on your relationship. There are a few welcome bonuses that are really awesome right now. So we've got the green cash rewards card. They're giving $300 cash back when you spend $3,000 in the first 90 days of opening the account, and you get a one-time $98 statement credit when you pay $49 or more for an annual Walmart Plus membership. Man, that's a great welcome bonus. And if you don't have Walmart Plus, you definitely should get it, because it makes my life so much easier. I used to spend so much time having to go to Walmart, and when you are a busy entrepreneur and you are busy creating multiple streams of income, sometimes you have to delegate other tasks that are time consuming out, and this is a great way to do that. Next on the list here, we have the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card. Not my favorite card, okay? Backstory. Story time. This was the first card that I applied for when I first got with Navy Federal. And of course, that was like me just not being educated. I was not educated. I was literally just shooting in the dark, just taking like, yeah, well, I'll apply for that. But you have to be educated because I applied for this card and I was approved for $500. So I have seen a few people get approved for higher limits, but it's not necessarily going to be a high limit credit card that I would recommend getting as your first credit card with Navy Federal. So again, I started with $500 to date. That card is like $1,500. So again, not that much, but I made the mistake of getting 3 credit cards with Navy Federal instead of 2. And that's why I would recommend just getting 2 because you're going to max out at 80,000. So I have one card that's at 40K and one card that's at 38.5 and then another one that's at 15. But of course, this American Express card, I believe, but the great thing about the American Express card was it got me into the American Express system as an American Express member. So when I applied for all my business American Express cards, which I got approved for 5 just about a year after, when I looked at my cards on American Express, it said that I had been a member ever since I got this American Express branded card with Navy Federal. So that was cool, and that definitely helped build up my relationship or actually get my data into American Express. It doesn't necessarily help the relationship with American Express, but it gets your data into their system. And that's when you officially become, a member with American Express because it's, it just has their logo on it essentially. Does have, a transfer, does have a welcome bonus, but again, not the best. So not something that I would necessarily recommend as the first card, maybe the second card, or if you did want to get 3 cards, you say you're like, I don't want 40K. I'd rather have 3 credit cards that are like, 25, 30, whatever. That's fine as well. It's up to you, whatever you feel is going to be best for you. Now, my number 1 card that I love so much at Navy Federal is their Visa flagship rewards card. This is a signature card, guys. And let me tell you, I love this card. This is the official black card. You can earn 4 times the bonus points when you spend $3,500 within 90 days of opening the account. Plus, you get a year of Amazon Prime for free. Now, you do get an annual fee with this card, which is $49. But the great thing is it'll allow you to earn 3 times the points for every dollar that you spend on travel and 2 times the points for everything else. So you can really leverage this pretty much everywhere you go. And it is a signature card. So I definitely would recommend the flagship card. And this card actually goes up to an $80,000 approval. Okay. So if you already have pretty good credit and you're like, hey, I got a good relationship with Navy Federal and I have good credit, I would go after the flagship. Okay. Try to go after that 80K, man. Get it. Just do it. Just do it. Because imagine what that's going to help you do with like Chase, or some of these other credit unions that have a really competitive, market that they're in, especially Chase right now. Chase is they are growing and they want to give you money. Okay. But we got to build up right. We got to use Navy Federal to build up. Okay. We've got the Go Rewards card. It's a decent card, pretty good. Not something that I would pick necessarily, but it is a good card. I would go after the flagship or the green cash rewards or the platinum card. Right now, the platinum has a welcome offer that if you transfer a balance within 60 days of opening an account, you can save with a low APR for 12 months. Now, balance transfers are different than, say, a cash advance. Okay, you have to understand the difference because you are charged differently. So if you do what's called the cash advance, that is not going to qualify you for that low APR for the first 12 months. So I would not necessarily recommend cash advances necessarily because they are a very high interest rate. So if you are going to need actual cash right away, like, and you don't have time to pull it off of a prepaid debit card and do all the other stuff that comes along with it, my best bet, like I said before, is head over to lightstream.com and apply for a personal loan. That's a gem for you right there. Now, Navy Federal also offers the N Rewards secured credit card, which does graduate. So if you go to Navy Federal's website, you can pre-qualify for a credit card at no hard pull, right? So for example, if Navy Federal says, oh, you qualify for all of these cards, cards. Then you would just need to pick the one that you want to go with. That's going to be the soft pull. The soft pull is not necessarily going to tell you which card you are going to be approved for. You won't know that until you actually accept the offer. So you might say, or you go forward and they hard pull you. So you might pre-qualify for all of the cards, right? And then you select the green cash rewards card to move forward with. After they process your hard credit pull, they might say, oh, sorry, you don't qualify for the green cash rewards card, but we can offer you the N rewards card. Take it. Okay, the N rewards card is their secured credit card, but the great thing about it is it helps you build credit and you can apply for more credit cards in the future. This is also going to graduate, so you're going to get your deposit back and you can load this card up to $5,000. The minimum is $200. Go big or go home, baby. I would try to go as high as you possibly can. Okay. Why? Because we want to raise the bar. So when they do graduate us, we want them to raise our limits. Okay. You can definitely leverage this to your advantage, because say you're like, well, I haven't really been with Navy Federal that long, so I don't really have an established relationship. I'll just, kind of get my foot in the door by getting this card, and hopefully in 6 months it'll graduate. It can take up to 12 months, but it can be as soon as just a few months. Again, spend, pay. Use this card as if it's your debit card and pay it multiple times a week. Okay, they love that. The spend pay, very frequent payments and, small transactions that are not too alarming. Okay. You don't want to max the card out. Next, we have on the business side, the Go Business Rewards card. And this credit card is going to require that you have a business bank account with them. In order to have a business bank account, you do have to have a personal bank account. So you have to be a member on the personal side in order to even have a business bank account with Navy Federal and even apply for their business credit products. Okay. So this here is a great business credit card. They typically give pretty high limits. I have seen them kind of stricten up a little bit lately. I had a few people that I've spoken with in the past that said that after they put in their business application, they did require tax returns. Okay, so that is something new, but just be prepared for that, especially if you are a business that has been around for less than 2 years or less than 3 years, because a lot of banks, if you are less than 2 years old, you are a risk. Okay. If you are over 2 but under 5, you are still new. So that's still kind of on that fine line. After 5, you're pretty good. So your history has a lot to do with it, unfortunately, because of the fact that new businesses are just such a high risk, and banks oftentimes will have to be very careful. And that's why they're asking for the tax returns to make sure that you are a profitable business. Now, they only got approved for $500 and they were still asking for business tax returns. So that just goes to show that they are starting to tighten up on their, no doc approvals, because of the fact that they really have to make sure that they're giving these credit cards to real business owners that have a legitimate, cash flowing business. Okay. That's profitable. Now, here's the great thing is it doesn't report to your personal credit and there is no annual fee. Not the best for rewards. You get 1 point on every dollar that you spend, and the interest rate is not the best either. So it's a great, start to your process. And that's why I say start with Navy Federal. Navy Federal is just going to help open up the doors for other financial institutions because they are the #1 credit union. Checking line of credit with Navy Federal. If you are looking for more of that cash option, this is where you're going to be. I would recommend not getting a credit card if you are looking to just pull cash off of it. Like I said, you can use Lightstream for a personal loan, loan, or you can apply for their checking line of credit. This is a revolving line of credit as well, and you can get assigned limits of $500, $1,000, or $5,000. Interest rates are a little bit higher, and there is a $50 annual fee. So it's pretty good for, just overall having that extra cash on hand. But I don't recommend long-term debt with this. It's great for, just having that overdraft protection for the business checking account. Now, there is a personal guarantee with this business line of checking. I'm sorry, this is the business, not the personal, but checking line of credit. Now, I highly recommend this for business owners because what this can do is it can act as, say, overdraft. What this can do is it can act for overdraft protection for the business checking account. And that's really what these checking lines of credit are for. They're not best because they are a higher interest and they're not really high limits. They're more of like, basically up to $5,000, and there is a $50 annual fee. So it's good for like short-term cash needs, but it's not really something that I would recommend for like long-term. And that's why it doesn't really have higher limits and only up to like $5,000. But if you do get the business checking line of credit, then it will require a personal guarantee and a personal credit check. So the business owner's personal credit will be checked, and generally on the business side, Navy Federal can use Experian in addition to TransUnion. So on the personal side, when Navy Federal is looking at your credit, they're going to be looking at TransUnion for the personal side. But on the business side, Navy Federal is going to be looking at your Experian credit report. So they are not going to be looking at any of the business credit reports. They are solely going to be looking at the business application along with the personal credit. Okay, that's really what they are looking at here. So that's why it's really important to have that personal credit together, or at least be working on it, so that way you'll have it and not need it. It's really bad when you need it and you don't have it. That's when I start hearing from people. So we want to get it together now, so that way we can stay ready, so that we don't have to get ready. Because again, guys, if you knew better, you would do better. Make sure that you've smashed that like button, hit that subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Leave me a comment below if you have found some value, and let me know what you have liked the most about the videos so far. Let's talk about some personal expense loans. They do have personal loans at good old Navy Federal. However, interest rates are pretty, I would say, decent for this type of loan. Personal loans are already kind of a higher risk loan because there's no collateral involved. So they are strictly relying on your cash payments to repay the loan. Therefore, the interest rates here are up to 36 months, a little bit lower. And then, of course, when you go that longer term, that's when you're going to see those interest rates peak up a little bit more. Definitely lower than Lightstream. But again, if you are looking to do vacations, or if you're, need something, it's great because they go up to $50,000. The lowest is $250,000, highest is $50,000. So if you need to build credit and you are like, look, I don't have any installment loans on my credit, I highly recommend applying for a $50,000 personal loan with Navy Federal, using that $50,000 to do a pledge loan with Navy Federal, and then one other financial institution, maybe two other financial institutions, so you can turn that same $50,000 into 4 different primary trade lines for yourself. Don't let that go over your head. Home improvement loan. Ooh-wee. Did you guys know that they offer a home improvement loan? I bet you didn't, right? So home improvement loans, you cannot apply online. You actually need to call in or visit a branch in order to apply for this home improvement loan. Now, the great thing about these home improvement loans is it's a great way to get quick cash to finance home improvements or repair projects. banks. Now it says here, no collateral is required. There's a $25,000 minimum loan amount for up to 61 to 84 months and $30,000 minimum loan for 85 to 180 months. So I always say go big or go home. So we want to try to get that $50,000 home improvement loan. Do you need to own a home? No, you do not. Okay. How do you need to have a home loan on your credit report? No, you do not, because you can be getting a loan to help Aunt Susie, your mom, your dad, your grandma, whomever, to refurbish their home so it makes it more, suitable for their medical conditions, whatever the case may be. Leverage this to build a strong credit profile, guys, and get the cash that you need. Now, I'm not a huge advocate of taking a bunch of debt out on your personal side, but I am an advocate of showing that you're able to manage that debt on the personal side so you can leverage your good personal credit on the business side. Again, on-time payments. We must pay this stuff back. We must pay it on time. Do not fumble the bag. Okay? Again, don't fumble it. Don't do it, because you're going to restart the clock, and we don't want to do that. Okay. We got to play the game. Okay. Again, if you knew better, you would do better. Make sure everything is paid on time, guys. Okay. Navy Federal Auto Loans in the business name. Are you wanting to get a business auto loan? If so, Navy Federal offers business auto loans. Yes, it is going to require a personal guarantee, and there is no application fee, so that's nice. And then you can actually just go and pick up the check right at the branch. So if for some reason you're not able to visit a branch, they can mail the check to you. And this is all of the information that you are going to need in order to purchase a vehicle. Do not purchase a vehicle or get a check for a vehicle if you're not going to purchase a vehicle. Okay, don't do it, because that's being deceitful and it's bank fraud, and you don't want to mess around. You don't want that type of smoke. Just do right. Okay, that's our motto. If you knew better, you could do better. And we are doing better. It's never too late. It's never too late, guys. Okay, so this is all the information that you're going to need when you apply for an auto loan. And that's pretty much for personal or for the business. Now, on the business side, it's a little bit different, but that was actually for the personal side. So here are the top things that you do not want to do with Navy Federal. I am warning you now. And believe me when I tell you, I know a lot of people that have gone through things you don't want to get on their poo list. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Number one is you do not want to add authorized users that are Navy Federal members. Okay, because they are going to have access to your account, and things can happen. Okay, there's been a lot of fraud going on. There's been a lot of things going on with Navy Federal. So make sure that you do not add any Navy Federal members as an authorized user to your credit cards. Okay. If you are selling your trade lines and, they are authorized user trade lines that you are selling from Navy Federal, I recommend that you stop. Okay. If another thing that I did not mention earlier is you can actually add a co-borrower to your Navy Federal pledge loan. So say, for example, you go and do like a $50,000 pledge loan. You say, hey, I'm going to take a $50,000 personal loan or home improvement loan, and I'm going to turn that into a $50,000 pledge loan so I can add 2 high limit trade lines to my credit profile. But on my pledge loan, I'm going to help my spouse build credit. So I'm going to put their name as a co-borrower there. So that way we're both getting that trade line reported to our credit report. Now, I personally do not recommend adding or selling trade lines with Navy Federal, because especially if you are trying to have someone pay you to add as a co-borrower, just don't do it. Okay. Just don't do it. It's not worth it, because they could ban you and they don't like that. So if you are adding authorized users, make sure that they are friends, family. You're not doing it for any sort of monetary gain or anything like that, guys. It is okay to add Navy Federal members as authorized users because they will not have access to your account, okay? You can always lock their account if you were that concerned about it as well. Do not manufacture spend. So if you are educated about manufacturer spending, I would not recommend it. Basically, manufacturer spending is just spending so you can take advantage of, points or getting higher limits and things of that nature. You're buying, you're returning, there's a lot that goes into it. We actually just covered this on the credit community call last week. So if you're not a part of the community, join. All of the replays are inside of our community and we go over in detail about that. Do not convert auto loans into personal loans. I went over that briefly, guys, because that again is bank fraud and it's just not worth it. We want to make sure that we're building a positive long-term relationship because we are worried because we want to set up ourselves for long-term success. That's what it's all about. Long-term success. Don't apply for a credit line increase over the phone. You always want to do it through the app. I went over that earlier, and that's why it's so important to watch the entire video, guys, because even that one little missed piece of information could trigger you to do something wrong. So that's why I always tell people to watch the entire video before you take action, even if you have to watch it at a later date. Do not rush to pay off the pledge loan, guys. The pledge loan is meant for you to build a long-term relationship and to get a trade line, a primary trade line that is in your name that you are responsible for, so you can show your ability to be able to manage credit and pay your bill on time. We want to have trade lines that are between 2 and 4 years of age because, again, history is about 15% of our credit score, and we need our own history to build a solid credit profile. You're never going to turn that corner of a 700 or 800 credit score until you have at least 2 to 4 years of primary payment history. That means that you have credit accounts that are in your name that you are responsible for, that you have paid on time for the last 2 to 4 years. So again, you can do multiple pledge loans, but you want to make sure that you have them open and they are remaining just to be on auto pay. Just set it and forget it. If you want to pay a bigger portion of it down so you're not paying interest, you can do that. That way you'll be paid up through a certain time frame, but just let it roll. Get those payments, okay? Don't worry about paying it off because we want to get all of those 2 to 4 years of payment history, okay? Do not dispute inquiries for the credit cards that you have applied for with Navy Federal. If you have those cards, just take the hit. It's not really a big deal. Do not mess up your interview with the business banker with Navy Federal Credit Union like I did. Learn from me, guys. When we get nervous, sometimes we're like, yeah, I do this and I do that. No, just hush your mouth, okay? You can't have nothing on your website that says anything about credit. So when you are on the phone with the business banker, just know that they are looking at your website as you speak with them so they can get an idea of what your business does, because there are certain businesses that Navy Federal just does not work with. Credit is one of those. Business consultants are pretty much a high risk as well because there's been so many that have got through the cracks that are actually business credit or anything like that. If you even have the word credit on your website, you will be denied for a business bank account. Take it from me, I know. So learn from my mistakes, guys. Again, if you haven't by now, smash that like button and leave me a comment below. If you are looking to liquidate a credit card, don't do it with the Navy Federal American Express card. American Express is just not the best card for that, and they do not work with the Go prepaid method. So again, you cannot load that card with an American Express card. You can only load it with a Visa or a MasterCard. Do not buy access from anyone with Navy Federal access numbers for sale. There's a lot of people out there that might be able to, make money off you. Oh, I'll sell you an access number for $1,000 or something. Don't do it, because just know that access number that they're giving to you, they gave to probably, 100 other people, and eventually that's going to catch up, and everyone that with that access is going to get their account shut down. It is only a matter of time. So get in the right way by simply a family member, a friend. Don't use an access number unless it's someone like a roommate, a friend, a family. Do not purchase it because it's hot, and just know that your account will be shut down. You're going to need to get in the other way. And again, the link is in the description so you can request the script to call in and say. Now, let's talk about my Navy Federal experience. I've had, a love-hate relationship with Navy Federal. I love Navy Federal, but there are some things that I'm not a big fan of. Now, my experience has always been very positive with Navy Federal. They were one of the first banks to give me high limits. They're one of the first banks to give me an opportunity to refinance my auto loan. I have 2 auto loans with them. I have 3 credit cards with them. They are overall a good starter bank. Now, I do not use them as my primary bank by any means, but they are a great bank to help get you established with credit and credit products, high limit credit products, not to mention, and you can do the secured loan with them. So there are a lot of great benefits with Navy Federal, and that's why I recommend it to you guys, especially if you are looking to get higher limits or you are looking to just build credit because you're like, hey, my credit score is just not that great and I can't figure out why. Well, you probably don't have enough positive credit. And with Navy Federal, there's multiple ways that you can add positive credit trade lines to your credit report by leveraging and just recycling money on your credit. Let's talk about the business checking account. A lot of people always ask me about their business credit products, and I will say this, you definitely have to be a Navy Federal member on the personal side to even get in on the business side, but they do have good credit products for business owners that actually qualify. Again, Navy Federal, there are some businesses they simply do not work with, okay? Now, credit is one of those businesses. They like businesses that really serve to their community, okay? So you just kind of have to think, is Navy Federal going to work with my type of business? Now, if your type of business can help benefit the military community, chances are it's going to be a yes. But again, they don't work with anyone that does credit, business credit, business services could get through. But again, you cannot even remotely say the word credit on your website. Business loans, you can get up to $50,000. You must submit your loan application through their online secure document upload, and the request over $50,000 must be discussed directly with a banking representative who will explain the requirements and the application process to you. I recommend going into a branch if you have one near you. If not, you can call over the phone and speak to someone over the phone. But if you do happen to have a branch that's, remotely close to you, go in and speak with the relationship manager that's inside of the branch and start building a relationship with them so you can understand what you would need in order to qualify, because they're going to be looking at your cash flow, they're going to be looking at your business type, they're going to be looking at what you're going to be using the funds for, and they're going to be looking at your personal credit. Okay, so there's multiple factors for getting you approved when it comes to the business side. They're not that dependent on your business credit reports. They're more or less concerned about your business revenue, okay? They want to make sure that you're going to have the revenue to pay this back for what you're using it for. So again, you would need to speak with a representative because rates and all that stuff are always changing, and you want to ask them if they have any programs that you could qualify for that would, not require any documentation, or if they have some sort of community development options that would be available. They also have SBA loans. Now, most banks do not work with startup companies, and this is pretty much like a standard, okay? Startup companies or newer businesses are businesses that have been around for less than 2 years. They are very high risk to many banks, and a lot of banks just simply don't work with startup companies. Does Navy Federal work with the SBA, which is the Small Business Administration? They absolutely do. So there is an option for you to go the SBA route, which basically means there's going to be more paperwork involved, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I would definitely explore what options might be out there for you. They also offer the secured business line of credit. What does that mean? Well, the business line of credit offers the good solution for businesses, and it's different than a term loan. A business line of credit is a flexible and it allows you to use funds as needed rather than receiving a big lump of money at the same time. So it is a revolving, and the interest is only paid on basically what you draw against. So you can use it for to purchase items, right? But there is going to be a higher interest rate because it is not necessarily going to be something that the banks are going to say, oh, well, we can just do a low interest rate, no big deal. No, they are going to be taxing you for these business lines of credit after, if there is any sort of promotion. Navy Federal does offer a secured business line of credit. Again, that is secured, meaning you're going to need to have some sort of collateral to secure this business line of credit, and you'll be able to draw against it as needed, but you're going to need all of the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork, right? So you're going to need 2 years of tax returns for the business, and you're going to need 2 years of tax returns for all of the owners or guarantors. You're going to need financial statements. You're going to need proof of collateral, personal guarantee, personal credit check, and you just never know what other type of documentation that this would require. So there's a lot of docs for this secured business line of credit, but if it makes sense for you, it's certainly an option that some business owners would be able to really take advantage of, especially those that have a lot of equipment. Business equipment loans. That brings us to our next topic here. How many business owners out there could definitely use an equipment loan? I'm sure you have once been there myself. How many business owners out there could use an equipment business? How many business owners out there could use a business equipment loan? How many business owners out there could use a line business equipment loans? Now, business equipment loans are great for business owners that are looking to finance equipment, and there is no prepayment penalty. So if you pay it off early, it's all good. Now, this is great for commercial equipment, computer equipment, leasehold improvements, expansion. Okay, hello. But you are going to need to personally guarantee it. And that's pretty much with any business, small business, that is. We're not talking about corporate credit. We're talking about small business owners that probably revenue less than $2 million a year. They are going to pretty much have to personally guarantee most items with major banks like Navy Federal, okay? The no PG days are pretty much gone and dead unless your business is, can stand on its own 2 feet. In that case, the SBA is going to be the route that you want to go, right? But for those that still need to personally guarantee because their business is still growing, they just, don't want to provide a lot of business documentation, then personal guarantees pretty much going to be where you want to go, right? So these term loans are really great. There is a $150 origination fee. Hey, that's fine. I'm okay with that, right? And the loan, it can be up to 75% depending on the type of equipment. So again, it's not 100%. It is up to 75%. So that could really help a lot of people. But again, you really need to understand the terms of these things before you just go and apply. Educating yourself. If you need to book a call, feel free to do so, and we can go over what might be the best options for you and your business. I talked about a business loan earlier. Now we're actually going to be covering the business side of it, but they do offer business vehicle loans for you business owners out there. And again, you do have to have a personal guarantee for the business loans, okay? They are not going to be pulling the business credit reports. They're going to be pulling your personal credit reports. They're going to be looking at Experian on the personal side. They may even look at TransUnion. It just kind of depends. They can look at either or. Funny enough, this Navy Federal used to be an Equifax bank, so they actually used to pull Equifax a lot, but I haven't really been seeing them pull Equifax in the last couple of years. It's primarily primarily been TransUnion on the personal side and Experian on the business side. Now, some of the positives with their business loan is there's no fees, no prepayment penalties. The loan to value for new vehicles is up to 100%. So that's really important, meaning they will finance 100% of the vehicle. For used vehicles, it's up to 90% of the loan value. Okay. So you can also get a review of the Carfax vehicle history. So that'll be nice. And this would qualify for business cars, light duty trucks, and SUVs. You'll need to do the business application. You'll need a purchase invoice that has all the vehicle information on it, certificate of insurance listing Navy Fed, the mileage statement. If it's refinancing, so you can refinance auto loans that are fairly newer and try to get them over to your business side so they don't report to your personal credit. That's the goal, right? We want to alleviate that debt on the personal side and put it into the business if it's for the business. It is going to require a personal guarantee, but it's not going to report to your personal credit. So that's the great thing about, business vehicle loans. You can refinance personal loans, okay, and you can purchase new ones. So it's a great win-win for everyone. There's also commercial vehicle loans, and these are for the commercial heavy duty or special use trucks and vans, or they're for like rolling stocks, semi-tractor trailers, grain trailers, and other equipment associated with hauling goods and livestock. So you'll need quite a bit of things to apply. Again, personal guarantee is going to be there. So when you are personally guaranteeing these things, you want to try to make sure that you have optimized your personal credit to the best of your ability, and you have at least a 680 credit score, okay? At least a 680. You could probably still get approved at a 670, but I would highly recommend that you have at least a 680 credit score. The good thing about these commercial vehicle loans is they will finance up to 80% of the new vehicle, up to 80%. So that means essentially you'd only have to put 20% out of pocket, right? And then for the used vehicles, they'll finance up to 75%. So that's the maximum. They also offer business real estate loans. So for those of you that are looking to purchase real estate in your business name, they offer commercial real estate loans that you can purchase or refinance or use for even renovation. You can definitely get in anywhere from a 5-year to 20-year, and there's no prepayment penalties. You can purchase commercial real estate, and it has to be classified as either owner occupied or investment property. So just keep that in mind. You can also purchase residential investment property. So for those of you that are looking to start a group home or an old folks home or any sort of residential investment property, okay, this can be used to purchase that. I recently talked to someone, he's like, oh, my realtor told me I wouldn't be able to purchase property under my business name. Hello? Okay, you have to get creative, okay? You can also use this for renovations, okay? So if you are renovating a property, you can use part of the funds for renovation. Then you have the list of what you'll need. It is quite a bit, but you're going to need tax returns for the last 3 years. You're going to need a business plan. You're going to need tax returns for the personal side for the last 3 years, a debt schedule, sales contract, lease agreement, if it is going to be an investment property. Investment properties can be, a number of different things. Okay. So just be creative. All right. And then, it just kind of depends if you have renovations, but this is a great opportunity. I cannot tell you guys how much this would have meant to me if I would have learned this information sooner. That's it. That's all, guys. That's the most important thing about Navy Federal. They are a great bank to get you kickstarted with your credit journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. If you haven't by now, make sure that you have subscribed to my channel. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what your favorite part of the video was. And if you would like to connect more, visit the links in the description. I want you to do me a favor. Now that you've watched my video, I need you to take action, because without you taking action, all of this was for nothing. So take action. Let's go.